Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Leal, and I am here today to talk about the astrological energies of the next week from August 24th until August 30th. So last week I couldn't make it. I was dealing with these Uranian disruptions that are part of the most important event that we have this week, which is the lunar eclipse in Pisces, one of the most important ones in this, one of the most important events in this second half of the year, together with the previous eclipse, the one in Leo. So you have to remember that the manifestations, we could perceive them with much anticipation. We have lunations every month, new moons, full moons, but when they turn into eclipses in these marvelous synchronicities that happen between the sun, the earth, and the moon in 2 seasons per year. In general, this means that everything is aligned as a cosmic watch. The magnitude is far greater than a common lunation, and in astrology we relate this with experiences that we have to live in this incarnation, karmic experiences. So I'm going to concentrate the whole video on this, but we are going to begin talking about Mercury, because on August 25th, Mercury in Leo makes this conjunction. It is moving out from Leo and makes this conjunction with the South Node and the opposition, therefore, opposition with the North Node in Aquarius. This is an activation of the past eclipse. And as Mercury accomplishes this function of mental processes, rational processes, this could imply a decision, a communication, or just the comprehension of something that we need to let go of. So we can move forward towards this new place, so we can be at service of this planetary network, even if this is linked with something that is totally personal. We have to see ourselves as individuals that are not only affecting themselves, we are impacting each other with everything that we do. This doesn't mean that we are responsible for everything that is happening in the world. It is just simply that we are responsible for our part of the process, but it's not isolated from the rest. Everything has an influence in what surrounds us. So this could imply putting our pride aside, or the resistance, in front of a situation, in the face of a situation that we want to be different, because we cannot see the whole panoramic view, or we cannot understand the reason, for what that is happening, or how that is part of something bigger that we are transiting. Perhaps we need to let go of something that we were attached as a form of identification, something that perhaps gave us the recognition of the environment, but truly it is a behavior that is draining us, and therefore it is not authentic. And we have to discover who we are without that part, or without that people, or without those situations. This is evolutionary, but also generates certain sensation of uncertainty and instability. This is a very common experience with the North Node. Or perhaps we need to make a decision that we feel that is a transgression of something that we were very loyal, but it's not making us feel good anymore. It is limiting us. And perhaps, we are so programmed in a way that we need to express ourselves, or we need to be, and this could be a moment to face that fear, to express ourselves, or to live in a different way from what we know, or from what the people that surround us are expecting. So that same day, Mercury moves out from Leo and enters Virgo in a trine with Chiron retrograde in Taurus. This is one of the seals of the eclipse. Yesterday, August 22nd, the Sun entered in Virgo, so they are going to have a conjunction, a union. They are going to be united the day before of the eclipse, or the same day, depending on where you live. Mercury is in one of its domiciles, and here flows in a very practical way. It is a very concrete focus, what we need to do, which is the next step, how we can give an order to this situation, how we can materialize that project. It is an excellent transit for something that involves process, because there is this capacity to center ourselves in the kind of routine or habit that is required, putting our look in the step by step in a consistent way. It is the tiny changes that when they are sustained, they can change our whole life. But, well, because of other things that I'm going to describe in a minute, if there are manifestations in the physical body or, other things associated with Chiron in Taurus, instability in an economical situation, the relationship with our self-esteem, our talents, our resources, this trend could also imply information, opportunities, or processes that we understand that we need to approach so we can rebalance any of these things. Now, the shadow of Mercury in Virgo in the context of this Piscean eclipse that could not help is that if something is not fitting in a logic that we right now can understand, but we can feel intuitively, could be challenging if we are expecting all the answers to appear. I am referring that with this position of Mercury, there could be an attachment to certain plan, to having the details of how something is going to be developed, or to an order or an ideal of something, that we want to be that way. And it is very probable that it's not going to happen that way. This doesn't mean that it's going to be negative. It is just simply that there is a higher order that we don't have control of and that we need to open up. This means that life is proposing us to move forward, but in different terms from our expectations. So on August 27th, the Sun and Mercury are going to make this superior conjunction that is called when Mercury is direct. So a news, an idea, a comprehension is illuminating processes in the house where we have the degree 4 of Virgo. And this is something that is accompanying us to give this closure to a phase of our path. This is an ending of something that began to show in the final part of 2024. So let's go with the eclipse. In some places it's on August 27th. Here in Argentina it's on August 28th. So this is a partial lunar eclipse in Pisces, but it is cover almost the 19% of the capacity. So it's almost total. It is going to be visible in whole America, Europe, Africa. The places where we are able to see the event are the most impacted. So this is happening in the degree 4 with 54 minutes. All the mutable signs, people with ascendant, personal planets, luminars in these signs especially from 0 to 9 degrees of Gemini, Sagittarius, Virgo, Pisces, are the ones that are going to feel it more. But for everyone, an ending is happening in that house of the natal chart. So lunar eclipses are discarded to something that for us was familiar, that we have very associated with our emotional world, or that we consider home or shelter. So Pisces is a sign of endings, and beyond this is the last eclipse of the series Pisces Virgo. In this sign we have one more in Virgo, but this is the last one in Pisces. So could happen that you are feeling a lot of tiredness, a low energy, a lot of sensitivity, overwhelming emotions. Also, Piscean energy could be perceived as something that has no end, that could be very uncomfortable if we are in a situation that we don't want to experiment anymore. This means the illusory perception that we are not going to stop to feel sadness anymore, or that there is no end for a situation that we want to end. Because truly the nature of the experience is cyclical. I don't know if I'm inventing this word, but it is in cycles. And of course, the cycles can be different. And this is, what is happening here. There is a cycle that is not going to be the same with all of that, with all of the things that is involving. For some people, this is relief, this is peace. For other people, this could bring pain or grief or all the things at the same time. And whatever thing we are feeling doesn't need to be judged. It is more about assimilating to allow the revelations of what is behind that emotion, state, or symptom can be revealed. There is much tendency with this axis to experiment imbalances in the physical body, because they are going to show us where the energy is blocked, or what kind of decisions we are not making, or which kind of emotions or situations we are not facing or managing. There could be a challenge also in surrendering to life as it is. Some people could be like thrown in their emotions. There could be this tendency to throw ourselves in victimization, or mechanisms of evasion could be activated. They are a way of protecting ourselves from pain, from shame, from other emotions, and they are a way to not feel. Denial, escapisms, fantasies, projections that are not connected with reality, addictions, habits that are not making us good, choosing to be with people or situations that are from this place of running away. But in the end, we cannot run away from anything. Everything ends up showing us as it is. And well, yeah, we could deal with, disillusionment, disappointment, or painful experiences that are the fruit of the true intention with which we are doing what we are doing. But I think that this is also about looking with compassion at those parts of us that what truly desire is love, connection, protection. But many times we don't know how to give that to other people, and we don't know how to give that to ourselves. And if we look at our mechanisms of evasion, even the ones that are causing us the damage, as an addiction, if we look at them with excess of judgment, or excess of blame, or shame, we cannot actually access to what we really need to stop using them. So even if it's challenging, it is very important to inhabit what we are feeling and to register. And I am not talking about this registration with our rational mind. I am talking about feeling with the body, with our heart, and allowing that to show us the way. This lunation is also calling us to let go of forms in which we are, renouncing to ourselves, believing that we are helping other people when we are not establishing healthy boundaries, and we are not helping either. Could also show us that we need to make certain sacrifices. I mean, sacred offices. This means surrendering to this higher will, letting go of something that doesn't allow us to grow, to approach ourselves to our dreams, and to be able to help and to contribute to other people from a place that is truly loving and empathic. Because when we are helping from these programs of seeking of validation or being loved from the lack of healthy boundaries, we are not actually thinking in the other people. We are not thinking of ourselves either. We are acting according to the forms that we know, even if they are not positive, to obtain that love. The principal aspect is a T-square, which is a configuration of whole tensions, almost exact with Uranus in Gemini. That is in the degree 5 of Gemini. Sun and Mercury in Virgo and are in the degree 4, and Moon in Pisces, of course, also degree 4. So this tension is very, very strong, and this is the reason why it is possible that this closure is chaotic. We could experiment disruptive situations, unexpected ones, shocks, changes, radical cuts, or revelations, news that are breaking with or communications, that are breaking with our form, with our way of perceiving the path, and they are not in our control, and perhaps they are not fitting in the order that we, from our mental limitations, desire, because we don't understand the purposes of cosmos. Well, we don't always need to understand to continue moving forward. This is precisely surrendering, taking care of what we know and what we can do, and letting go of the rest, which is a pretty great challenge for our human egos. So the revelations, anyway, any form they are taking, if we open up to them, they are actually here to free ourselves, to bring renewal. So in the collective level, we are seeing the manifestations already. Uranian energy is very related with earthquakes. We are, this is being experimented in Venezuela, Colombia, Peru, Indonesia, Spain, structures are collapsing so we can rebuild ourselves from a new space. And of course, for the people that are most affected, this is a lot of instability, chaos, and pain. And Earth is calling us to live differently, inwards and externally. Also, Pisces is very related with water. Floods, raining. I wanted to invoke another word, but I don't remember right now. Events in the sea, and the great masses of people, movement of many people, as it is happening right now. Migrations because of wars or other critical situations. And as energy in Pisces is the Pisces energy is the one that is eclipsed. The shadow that could be expressed is lack of empathy, because this is one of the qualities of this energy. People many times are consuming so much information in social media, so dense information, so much dense information, or they are so centered in themselves that they end up losing sensitivity and the humanizing experiences of other people. They are judging them without empathy. And this is something that could also be visibilized with this eclipse. Or vice versa, feeling totally affected by something external because we are projecting our emotions and our own experiences. So something could generate rejection in me or other emotions because that is speaking of something that I don't have managed inside or integrated inside. It is not always empathy to appropriate from causes that seem that I am caring about the world, when we are acting from our, overwhelmed and dysregulated emotions, or the painful experiences that we are resisting to integrate in ourselves. Empathy is emotional resonance, is connecting with what the other is feeling and register what the other person needs. And I think that many people that are assuming that they are, empathic, and this was an experience of myself too, has this in confusion. They are giving what they need, and that is not always something wrong, but many times other people need different things. So Mars in Cancer also is going to be in a square quite close by that moment with Saturn retrograde in Aries. Therefore, there is a lot of tendency to, what we are feeling as an identity, as home, as family, very associated to the emotional world. And this could also be, our nationality, our beliefs, familiar beliefs, and experiences of the past that we have transited, and the behaviors that we developed through those experiences. They could be this filter that is moving us to act in a very emotional and dysregulated ways with a lot of anger. And then we are, facing an important lesson of self-regulation, maturity, and boundaries. This could be a transit where frustration is emerging to, impatience or the sensation of blockage, especially if we are approaching a path that is not for us anymore, or it is not the way. It is not the way that we need to do it. And the more that we are justifying our own imbalances without assuming responsibility, the harder the lesson with this transit. But at the same time, I reserve the harmonic aspects for the end. The Sun and Mercury in Virgo and the Moon in Pisces are going to create sextiles and a trine with Mars in Cancer. Therefore, the actions or the initiatives that are concrete and that we can take from this recognition from what is actually nourishing us emotionally and can nourish other people, from this intuitive connection that enables the water, they are opening the ways and possibilities even in places that we didn't see before, but probably with this quality of letting go of wanting to know everything, trusting in that what we are, feeling intuitively. And as the last aspect that I'm going to mention, this is the great bridge. Jupiter in Leo is in a trine with Saturn retrograde in Aries. They are only just 1 degree of distance of being perfected, and this is a very positive aspect. The trines are the most harmonic aspects that we have in astrology. So here we are talking about an energy that flows towards growth and expansion. in a very solid way. This is Saturn, structures and projects of life that could bring this enormous plenitude that are connecting us with the perception of richness, abundance, joy. But everything, all of these things can emerge if we are building with true purpose. This cannot emerge from denial of reality. This cannot emerge from impulsive decisions that could bring immediate satisfaction, but we are not thinking in the long term. So this trend is indicating that there are opportunities, bridges for this growth that are very positive, but we need also to learn to see them, especially when we are going through instances of emotional chaos. Creations and projects that could turn back to enthusiasm if we have lost that, or that a construction that we have dedicated a lot of time and energy, can grow. And if we are surrendering to our ideas, we can create that capacity, making that space to receive the fruits. But everything has to emerge from this profound base of honesty and being authentic with what our heart wants, with what our soul desires, because from there is where the movements with purpose are emerging. And because of my own experiences, what has purpose, what has growth, many times it could be in opposition with fixed beliefs that are limiting us. It is in opposition with conditionings, external conditions that we transited when we were children, or our lack of self-esteem that we all have, at certain moments. And precisely the Jupiterian trust, that we can build those realities, that we can live different. It is not something that comes while we are waiting, it is something that is being developed while we are doing, while we are making mistakes, and we get up and we learn about that. So, okay, I am going to end this video here today. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.